Everybody, welcome back to Playspot as usual, family. Yesterday we had also the internet on buzzing, talking about Nabi leaving Kaizer Chiefs, and I have a lot of questions about it. And I told you that, guys, I'm gonna go deeper into this story to find you any information which I'm gonna find on the this story, as I promised you as my viewers. And here I just have one of the video which I just found, Kaizer Junior explaining this issue. And to be honest, for me, I was waiting for clarity, but seems like he's playing duck and dive. But actually, I want you to just to listen on your own, guys. Before we go to listen to this video, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, family, as usual. Roll it to 100k subscribers. But guys, you're not subscribing, guys. I don't know why, but I'm working so hard. Anyways, guys, I really appreciate those who have been supporting me since day one. Let's listen to what Junior has said.
Nabi, and the fact that at the end of the season he will be leaving Kaizer Chiefs. I need to hear from Chiefs royalty themselves. Is this going to be happening at the end of the season? Because we know that he does have a long-term contract with Amakos.
Well, we know coach he's got another season after this with us now. At the same time, also like we do after every season, we sit down and review. We know that results in the league have been a bit inconsistent. We know we've just been able to achieve, a record milestone. So with everything else, we're moving forward. We're planning the way forward, and we want to really savor this moment, use this moment in a massive positive way moving forward. And galvanize the supporters and galvanize the tech team, the players, the staff for the mission ahead. So we're just planning for the future.
Okay, you're planning for the future. Okay, guys, let's study from
Coach
here.
he's got
Boys.
another season after this with us now. At the same time, also like we do after every season, we sit down and review. We know that results in the league have been a bit inconsistent. We've just been able to achieve, a record milestone. So with everything else, we're moving forward. We're planning the way forward, and we want to really savor this moment, use this moment in a massive positive way moving forward. And galvanize the supporters and galvanize the tech team, the players, the staff for the mission ahead. So we're just planning for the future.
All right.
Okay, I just got only one word when he said they are planning for the future. Actually, he's not answering. But I feel like if Nabi was going to stay, I'm not saying he's leaving, guys, but I feel like it was a simple question. No, Nabi is not leaving. He had done this and that, but he said they're planning for the future. Inconsistent on the league. But guys, without wasting your time, let me just try to bring one of my guys here on the line, which is Mesh. I think he has something to say, reacting to this video and this trendy. He's one of the biggest guy here in Playspot. So I hope you are ready to hear. Hello Mesh, how is it?
Mula, how are you?
Ngimnandi njaya, ngimnandi wena.
I'm great, man. I'm great.
Yes. Bra, asingene endabeni. This video have been trending, about Nabi leaving Kaizer Chiefs after actually ending the trophy drought. And we listened to the video of Kaizer Junior. It seems like he's playing duck and dive. It's not actually clear according to my own understanding. So do you have anything you picked up or we picked up from this video?
Yeah, I think he said a positive, and he also mentioned something negative about Nabi's run.
Fact.
He did mention that in the league. Well, first and foremost, he said that just like every other season, they always review the season, how the coach did, and the way forward. And he said that Nabi in the league hasn't been consistent.
Fact.
So that means that that's a negative, that we can look for reasons why he can be released. However, he still has a year left with Kaizer Chiefs. So meaning that if Chiefs release him, they'll have to pay him out, right? And then on the other hand, he did say that, they just achieved a milestone. So that's a positive for Nabi. And Nabi also has been saying, Guti, he's hoping that this Nedbank Cup can give him more time, because the plans that he has for the team, is to put the team back to its natural position.
Yes.
Bring back the glory days. And he did bring back the glory days. So that's a positive, So now it will be a matter of what planning for the future means, because Junior says they're planning for the future.
Fact.
So what does planning for the future mean? He says that they want to be competing in Africa, and he says that they want to be they want to go to the Club World Cup, right? So that's the next stage, because domestically they've achieved everything. All right, fine. So from this, we pick up two things, right? We pick up that at this stage, the rumors, they can be believable that Nabi is leaving. But also, we must not be surprised if there's a turnaround because of the what? Because of the Nedbank Cup.
Fact.
You understand? So for me, my thinking as it stands, Nabi is definitely going to leave Chiefs at the end of the season. That's how I see it. Because if he was not leaving, it would have been very easy for the technical director to say no, he's not leaving.
Fact. I also
We are
said it to
staying.
my viewers that why is he playing duck and dive, just to answer the question straight, saying that no, Nabi is not leaving, but he comes up with different kind of angles. You understand? So it says a lot.
Yeah. So as it stands right now, the Chiefs, the you know what Nabi has done for Chiefs, he will always be remembered. You know, and I think that maybe what they're looking for is someone who understands PSL a little bit better.
Yes.
Because as much as they do want to win Nedbank and other cups, I think that they do want to win the league, and they want to push up the league so that they can play CAF. You know, we've seen the results with Rivero, what he did with Pirates, you know, and I think that's the direction, the angle that they're also trying to take, where they can have someone who can have a different style of play that accommodates PSL players. Because Nabi's style of play, you need to be a complete player to be under Nabi, unfortunately. You need to be complete in your position. You need to be complete, you know, like you need to think for yourself. You know, he gives players opportunities in a way that you find yourself being able to play in your position. But if you cannot tactically and technically play in your position, it becomes very difficult to shine under Nabi. You know, so I think that maybe the team wants to take a direction of you know, going for CAF and try to make it to Club World Cup.
Club World Cup.
And if you look, Club World Cup is this year, and then it's gonna come 4 years after this year, meaning that Pyramids and Sundowns, one of them is going to Club World Cup, and then if Pyramids or Sundowns repeat the win of CAF, that means the runner-up in that year, or maybe there's 3 different winners, and then the runner-up of the last year, the 4th year, is the one that will go to Club World Cup. So I think Chiefs right now, what they're doing is trying to put themselves in a position where they can at least compete for CAF, where they can at least, let's say by the 3rd season from now, the CAF, the 4th CAF, the last CAF before the Club World Cup, maybe they will have built enough to come number 2 and maybe push all the way to CAF to become a runner-up or even win CAF. You know, so I think that their goals are much bigger. They are looking at Club World Cup and they are looking at CAF. But what Nabi has done, it's something huge. You know, I think Nabi will always be open. The door will always be open for Nabi at Chiefs. He gained the love of the fans, and you know, he has done well generally. He has brought back so many players we stopped believing in. You know, he brought back Solomons, brought back Dove, brought back Tetwa, brought back, now all these players are what we signed them to be. Quinica, you know, all these guys, they showed leadership. You know, so I think the work that Nabi has done, the process that he has done is amazing. You know, the process that he has done is amazing. I mean, you look at Mart, right? Very underrated, you know, very ridiculed, but what he has done also, being the captain to lift that trophy that ended the drought, will always be remembered in the history books of Kaizer Chiefs. You know, so there's a lot that can be picked up that's positive as well as the negative in terms of competing, which in the league, I believe that there can be a better competition. You know, we can compete better in the league and, you know, try get those results. But other than that, personally, I would have loved Nabi to stay, because Nabi is a cup specialist. So I think that would have done well in CAF Confederation. I
Mm-hmm.
think with what he has done and then bringing his own players, I think would have done well in CAF Confederation with Nabi, because he is a cup specialist. If you look at his lineups in the cups
Yeah,
versus the lineups in the leagues, they are very different. You know, in
different.
the cups he plays amazing.
Yes.
Even Carling Cup, he was doing so well. The only unlucky thing is that he met Sundowns. But otherwise, I believe even if we were qualified for top 8 and he had a chance, he was definitely going for that top 8.
Yes, fact. And I also heard some other people, other fans were saying he might be leaving because this one is just something else, bro. We've been actually having a debate on. Some fans were saying it's because Kaizer Chiefs management, they don't want to buy players Nabi wants.
No, not necessarily. I think Nabi now will have earned the right for Chiefs to buy him the players that he wants.
Okay.
I think now, having won the Nedbank Cup and showing that he's capable. I think if, let's say, they were not willing to buy him so and so whatever, I think now he can raise his hand in the boardroom and say, look, but I want this. I can do more if you give me so and so.
Yes.
But other than that, you understand what I'm saying. So,
Mm-hmm.
but again, in the economy of football right now, players are too expensive,
Fact.
and unfortunately, you cannot make that money from football.
Yes.
I mean, you hear that Sundowns bought a player for this many millions, then you hear that CAF Confederation winning money is half of that
Ish.
player's money.
Ish.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
the economy, if you make your money from football, the economy for football right now is very, very difficult. You even see with Barcelona, in order for them to come back to their financial state where they are doing better, they had to use a lot of youth players. And that's what Chiefs has done as well. They chose to invest in the long term vision of at least having youth players, knowing that although we may not be able to sign, but at least we can pick up quality from the development.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, as we've seen with Barcelona in the Champions League, that those development players, they didn't show experience,
Mm-hmm.
being knocked out by Inter Milan by players who are far older, players who have more experience. You understand? So
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's just the economy of football right now. Teams are working based on what they have as resources. And currently, Chiefs, I wouldn't say they have resources to buy any player that they want. They do not have those resources because, unfortunately or fortunately, they make money from football. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Other teams where we don't know where the money comes from, but it's just there. Whether they perform bad or perform well, the money is just always there.
Mm-hmm.
Whether there's fans at the stadium or not fans, the money is always there. Whether they're
Mm-hmm.
buying T-shirts or not buying T-shirts, the money is just always there, and it's crazy amounts of money. You have teams like in the PSL, right? We have a team, let me say, in the PSL that has shown us, spending $250 million, I don't know, in a short space of time. And that money you'd have to win, I don't know how many league titles just to get to that number. You understand?
Yeah.
So the economy of players is different now. We need someone like Rivero. We need someone who's going to read the player's strengths, and someone who's not going to make it difficult for other players to phase in. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that needs someone with a development mind. And
Yes.
Nabi is more of a polished coach who works with players that are complete in their position.
Yes.
I can liken him to like Ancelotti and Mourinho and all the other older coaches. But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, at this time, we need someone like Alonso. We need a young coach. We need a dynamic coach. We need a coach that's going to try something.
Mm.
A coach that's not afraid to instill his ideas, just like Rivero.
Okay, asking you a last question before we close. Uh, let's say if Nabi leaves, which candidate do you see him being the successor of Nabi? Okay,
Sorry, please say that again.
I was asking who. Let me just simplify it. I'm saying which coach do you think is going to replace Nabi if it's possible that Nabi has left Kaizer Chiefs?
I heard that Widad is asking for Nabi.
Okay,
And
okay,
then I heard that Benny McCarthy might be coming down to South Africa in the PSL.
okay. So
And then Rulani is also on special leave. So with what I'm understanding, since um, Benny McCarthy is closer to Pirates than Chiefs, I'm thinking that Benny McCarthy may be the next Pirates coach, the
yeah,
next head coach for Pirates.
yeah,
And then I'm thinking Nabi can be going to Wydad because he says he's going to do the process and go home. Although Wydad is not home, his home is Tunisia, but Morocco
it's the same.
is close enough.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's in North Africa, so home won't be far. So I'm thinking Nabi will go to Wydad, and I'm thinking Rulani will come to Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping Rulani comes to Chiefs because again, that's the profile of a coach that we're looking for. Someone young, someone who's dynamic, someone who's able to instill his ideas.
Yes.
You know, so I think that someone like Rulani can really help Chiefs, and I think that Rulani's style of play with the supporters that Chiefs has, it won't go unnoticed like it did at Sundowns, where the fans are not coming to the stadium, even if you're playing the best football that we have ever seen. I think that, the fans are going to support Rulani in terms of Chiefs fans. They're going to pack those stadiums. And I think that it's going to help him also generate more power in him, even if he doesn't get the players that he wants. I
Mm-hmm.
think that with the style of play that he can put, he's the one that can survive the sort of management that Chiefs has, where they are very strict with money, very strict with releasing. You look at Liverpool, you look at Arsenal, very strict management, and they hardly buy like 100 million what players. They're always buying like lower, 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 but they've got an eye for those players. And some players they've worked out, some players did not work out, but they never spend like Chelsea or Man City, or like any of like PSG, for example. And we see the same management structure also like in what is it? We see the same management structure like in Arsenal, where Arteta knows he's not gonna get players. Arteta knows that if Arsenal wants a certain player and Chelsea wants that player, Man United wants that player, what is it?
Man City.
City wants that player. Arsenal already know that they will not get that player. And it's the same with Chiefs. When Chiefs says they want a player and we see Pirate and Sundowns are also running for that player, we already know we're not getting that player.
Fact.
Unless that player really loves Chiefs and really wants to come to Chiefs, we already know that that player will not be playing for Chiefs. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So I think that at this current moment, it's important for us to also like look at how management is working. Instead of just wanting Galacticos, you need to end that position. And I think Real Madrid end that position because these guys, these Galacticos, these youngsters, when they go there, they know that okay, we have a chance of winning Champions League. It's easier for them to pull players. But Chiefs, they hadn't won a trophy in 10 years. It's very hard to pull the current best player in the PSL to say, come play for Chiefs when we're finishing number 8, number 9, number 10.
Aish.
We're not winning any cups, and you are seeing the things that Sundowns is doing, Pirates is doing. Your peers are playing for CAF. Your peers are playing like your peers are traveling. You understand? And then us were only domestic. We're only ending up in Durban, Peter Mokaba. We're only going to Stellenbosch and all of that stuff. And then you find your peers, they're going to North Africa, East Africa, West Africa, Central Africa. You understand? Because of football, because of African competitions. So I think that individually players really do want to play for Chiefs, but also individually players also for their own careers, they want to take up their careers, as we have seen with Ngezana winning the league again. It took a step for him to move away from the club, and he has been able to see more trophies than the club since he left. So again, it's things like this. And I mean, also playing against Man United, you look at Mayo where he is, also traveling around with Belouizdad. You look at Mukwana, he has just won a trophy as well. You understand? So that's what was missing from Chiefs, the trophies. It was not encouraging the players enough to play for them, even though the players individually they did want to play. We
Yes.
also had Teko saying that he wanted to play for Chiefs so bad, but Chiefs management and their recruitment of players very slow. Even if players want to play for them, they are very slow in recruiting players, and also they are very, very. I wouldn't use the word stingy, but I would say that they are not lenient when it comes to money or
Yes.
in terms of buying players.
Yeah. I no, Mesh. We really appreciate your time, man, and your analysis from Kaizer Chiefs. We are actually having 158 people, concurrent viewers, guys. Give likes for Meshi, guys. Give likes for Meshi. Give likes for Meshi. You can hear this guy is breaking down everything for Kaizer Chiefs as one of the best fan of Kaizer Chiefs here and at Playspot. And actually, he actually told you what he think about Nabi. Is Nabi going to leave? But he also supported his points according to Junior as video. And I also give you some insights on buying and selling players, why Kaizer Chiefs they can't go for these players and what is really happening. So this is this, guys. Let us meet another day. Thank you, Mesh, very much. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. More likes for Mesh, guys. More likes for
Amakhosi
Mesh.
for life. I'm a champion.
Yizo mnganami.
Angazi ukuthi ngiphuza itiye, ngiphuza ikofi. Juicy, cold drink.
Just get yourself
Stress
a bottle,
champion.
man.
Khonakala mula.
Okay,
Sharp
Malami.
sharp.
Ngiyabonga.
Hola.